Hey, what's up everyone? Alex here, back with another video on the SAIO System Artificial Intelligence Othello, and today we're going to be talking about library values. So for those of you who have actually seen the first couple of episodes, you would know that those are very basic functions, and I think just enough for you to kind of review and utilize some of the useful functions within SAIO app. And of course, the most useful and unique stuff about SAIO is about the library. So the library is actually kind of like a memory of SAIO, and of course you can create a localized memory for yourself. So whatever that you kind of inherit from downloading the full library is essentially what's been expanded till this far, and right now it's some 30 gigabytes of data. So in the library, you would find a lot of lines, and today we want to talk about the library values and how you can kind of best utilize the values in a more kind of well-informed way, and then hopefully it can help your game in a very academic point of view, and also maybe all the way down to kind of finding out what's the true accurate value as you continue to expand your local library within your application. So that's the very powerful thing about SAIO compared to all other softwares. So if you think about it, all other software is kind of just you can think of them as calculators that calculate the values on the go. For example, Reversatile or WZebra, they tend to calculate on the go. But in terms of the library lines, SAIO really has something that is continuously growing and becoming more and more accurate. So if you open the app, you would see this game mode. Just tap once and you go to the library. And of course, if you downloaded a full library, you'll be able to see these values show up. So there are two modes within the library that show two different sets of values. We'll go over both of them. So if I tap on an empty square, an illegal move, it actually helps to toggle between these two values. So let's go over the first set of values. So this is the very first set of basic values. Over here, you see on the top left, it's 60. So 60 basically means the depth of moves of the value. So in this case, it's 60. You can see at the top right, there's a -2. So -2, what it means is that there is, it's defined as the value exit library or the exit value for the library. And basically, what it means is that it's not a completely 100% accurate number, and instead there are -2 lines that, in the next move, there are -2 lines that are not complete and not 100% accurate. So just to kind of put it out there, I think based on my understanding is that Othello is not completely solved yet in terms of all the pathways. There are too many possibilities to be played, but at the same time, due to kind of highly accurate calculators, we can say that there are it's a fair confidence interval, or there's a high confidence that whatever values that we have, at least in the top couple of moves, they are somewhat the most accurate as possible, and there is still a possibility that you can explore other lines that can, result in potential draw lines that's not known to most people or even the library itself. But yeah, I would say most lines probably are covered. So that's the -2. It basically means there is a -2 line after this move that has not been completely mapped out. So it's not 100% accurate. The big number +0. So basically, Othello is thought to be kind of fair on both black and white. +0 basically means if you make the first move as black, both sides play the best move. It would end up with a result of 32 to 32, which results in a draw game. And over here, there are some big numbers below. So the very biggest number below, which is some 643 million, basically the nodes in the tree of this move. So in the first move, you actually have already 643 million moves mapped out behind, and out of which 260,000 are actually +0 lines according to this. So basically, it means that there are the number of variants with the same value. So if I toggle to the next page, which is another set of values, 67% on the top left means the precision of the value, which means the confidence of which they think that it's +0. So I guess 67% is a fairly good number. As you kind of proceed, there are lines that are higher and lower, and of course they'll be able to help you calculate in the last 28 to 30 MT moves by heart calculation. And of course you see -2 again over there, and below you can see 260,000 is the same value of the number of variants with the same value, And 54 over here basically means the priority given by the SAIO algorithm. So usually the higher number is better. So you would see quite a few at the back to be 250 or so. So something interesting as we tap on to the library, you can see, okay, so perpendicular is +0, diagonal is +0, and parallel over here is -8. So I think something that is slightly different is that parallel has been always kind of thought as a -6 opening according to WZebra or Reversatile. So that's kind of like one main difference that I see within SAIO app. And if I kind of just toggle between, but the confidence is 67% each and 58% over here. So over here, the top right values, again, over here it says +2, here it says -4, -10. There are values that hasn't been explored, but at the same time, it's not 100% accurate. So when it's 100% accurately losing or winning, it would actually show a bracket L or a bracket W on the top right corner instead. So let's just click on a few lines, like maybe the common lines. As you can progress, you can see, hey, Tiger is the most popular move over here with some 100 over million moves being played over here. I mean, the lines that are available in the library, you can see it's actually the ones that has the most variations to be played. So this is kind of Commoth, and it's one of the more commonly seen openings. At the same time, maybe let's click on Scorpion perhaps, just to explore the values a little bit. So if I click on this, otherwise this opening is otherwise known as Tama Plaza. So the Japanese play this a lot. Quite a few top players like to play this. I think due to its complexity and also the number of lines that it has. So over here you can see there are not many moves as viable for black, so black tends to go into a fixed line, whereas for white, there are quite a few viable moves, I guess. So let's see. Okay, let's just toggle between different modes. So you can see a lot of the priority. Okay, so maybe the smaller number, the priority means the highest. So over here you can see lower right is 57. I beg your pardon for earlier. And of course 250 being probably like the last few priority. And over here 131. So the algorithm assigns values with the smaller numbers to the higher priority. Over here is 57 is the highest priority as the best move. So over here it says there's a +6 line that is not explored. So if I hit on this and if I play this, there's a bracket -6 line. So the -6 line over here, if it says -6 and -6, I think it's fairly in line. But again, over here, +2, +2 with all the +6s that are not explored. Oh, sorry, meant to go here. And over here you have +-2 here, followed by this move. So this opening is something that I recently encountered on Othello Quest, and I found that it's pretty strong for black. It's hard for white to kind of follow. Just wanted to explore this a little since I had the opportunity. Over here, +2 is showing 89% confidence. Over here, +2 is 88%. But yeah, regardless of the kind of percentage confidence, like over here is 97%, you should always play moves that you are comfortable with rather than playing too much of a risky line. So let's see. Okay, so this is 99%. So over here, we've progressed to a point that you can see it's 99% and it's a bracket L. It's almost 99% confident that it's a losing move. Over here, losses. And over here, even though it's -18, bracket -18, it means that there's some other -18 line that they didn't consider, but usually they can't be too far off at this stage in the game. So yeah, you can. So over here it's saying 100% W, so that's a win for white for sure. If both sides play the best moves, it would be a win for white. So yeah, but I guess in Othello, it's not always possible to play perfect lines. So just try your best or try to play a line that maybe is slightly more counterintuitive for your opponent, rather than just trying to go for the best, because I think the best players tend to choose openings that result in counterintuitive moves. So it's better to kind of try to control the opening or control the lines as much as possible, unless you're super confident that you're better in terms of your fundamental skills. So this is the library values that I wanted to cover for today. Something that is quite interesting is that if you continue to develop, if you continue to play into lines that are non-developed, their values may change. For example, let's just take a look. Let's go back and see whether we missed anything. So over here it's -2, -2. It's fairly confident in these lines. So I guess this opening is quite fairly popular and quite highly played. Let's check out this one. So over here there is something called -2 and bracket -6 over here. It's 69% confidence. So if I played this and if I continue to play it, +2, bracket +6, there's a confidence line over here, -2, -6. So if I click on -6 over here, sorry, -6 over here, let me just hit that. Then you can see there's a +8 with a bracket +8. So there's a possibility of a -8 line that hasn't really been explored. So let's just click on this and explore it a little bit more. So if we were to play a -8 line right now and try to calculate it, you can see once, okay, so let's take a look at this -8 line. Once we click on this -8 line, you can see that the software is actually calculating it. So over here, you can see that the numbers had explored a little bit, but due to the proximity of it being near the end game, it's been calculated pretty quickly. So if we click on -8, you can see all the big numbers has appeared, and you can see fluctuating numbers. So what this means is that the library has not really kind of stored these lines, and therefore it's not 100% confident in terms of what's its values, in terms of the calculation. So you can see it's continuously calculating over here the number of nodes reaching some 800 over million and counting upwards, nodes per second 43 million. So what it's doing right now is just trying to capture all the lines, calculate it, so that it can be fairly confident about whether this +2, which has a bracket +6 or +8, is it actually a true +2, or is it actually a +6 or +8 that it kind of missed in terms of calculation? So yeah, that's essentially what it's doing right now to kind of map out. So you can think of Othello or SAIO as a map to a maze, and Othello as a maze. And if you know a certain tree branch that leads to a certain result, you may not know the kind of alternate pathways. And if you really wanted to know completely, what you would need to do is to kind of continuously develop that map. So, yep, once it's finished calculating, they would start to display some of the values. So earlier you saw that they showed some red values because they were calculating, and now once they're done, they show the kind of smaller values over there. So, but I think in terms of confidence level, you can see it's just 60% over here, and it's continuously calculating. You can just give it some time to run because it's running all the possibilities. So once it's done, you'll be able to see the values. So I think that's all I really wanted to cover in this video. So essentially, the powerful thing about SAIO is that they have a library that can kind of grow and learn with you, and you can continuously explore different lines within the application so that you learn more lines on your own, and at the same time you expand the library, so it becomes kind of like almost like a game that you have a saved progress and you can continue to build on essentially. So it becomes kind of like a personal notebook. So so I'm not 100% sure whether all of the users' personal workbooks kind of get centralized in SAIO's centralized library and it's always refreshed. But I think that's my own sense because the book seems to have been growing pretty quickly, or at least voluntarily or involuntarily, people are contributing to this book and therefore expanding to the kind of wider knowledge of Othello in at least the human community. So yeah, hopefully you like this episode. Although it's kind of geeky and nerdy, it's a bit complex, but at the same time, it shows the kind of potential of what you can do with the application. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.